Compile is a competitive card game where players are rogue AI competing one-on-one in a race to compile their 3 protocols, rewriting reality in their new image. Combine 3 protocols to research in a fight for control. Wrest control by increasing the value of your lines. Use your commands to shift the code. Compile all 3 of your protocols to win. Players draft their protocols. 1, then 2, then 2, then 1. 3 protocols each. Players take the 6 command cards for each of their protocols and shuffle them together to form a deck. Players arrange their protocols in the field, loading side up into 3 lines. They place their deck to the side of the field, next to their trash space, and they draw a starting hand of 5 cards. On their turn, players may play 1 card into the field as an action. Before the game continues, inspect card anatomy. Protocol indicator dictates which line a card can be played face up in. Value, the value added to the total value of a line. Protocol icon, indicator of the protocol. Top command, persistent. While this card is face up, this passive text is never covered and always active. Middle command, immediate. Resolve this active text upon card play, flip, or uncover. Bottom command, auxiliary. This passive text is often but not limited to triggered effects, but is only viable when uncovered. The player that drafted first takes the first turn. Turn order. Start. On your turn, perform start effects on your cards. On the first turn, no cards are in play yet, so nothing happens. Check compile. Do you meet the requirements? You must have a value of 10 or greater, and a value greater than your opponent in that line. If so, delete all cards in the line. Your cards go to your trash. Your opponent's cards go to their trash. Then, you flip your protocol card to the compiled side, completing one of your 3 objectives. If you compile, you may only compile 1 line per turn. This consumes your turn. If you did not compile, you may perform an action. Either play 1 card or refresh your hand. If you play a card, you may play it either face up into the stack under its protocol for the listed effects, or face down into any of your stacks for the default value of 2. Cards in play contribute to the total value of each stack. If you don't have any cards in hand, you must use your action to refresh your hand back up to 5 cards. After your action, check cache. If you have more than 5 cards in hand, you must clear cache and discard down to 5. End. Perform end effects on your side of the field. Then your turn ends. The first player to flip all 3 of their protocol cards to the compiled side wins the game. Now that we've defined cards and turn phases, let's analyze rounds of gameplay. At this point in the game, player 1 has 2 points in their fire stack, 2 points in their speed stack, and 2 points in their life stack. On the other side of the field, player 2 has 0 points in their metal stack, 10 points in their darkness stack because of a persistent effect, and 2 points in their spirit stack. It's player 1's turn with 3 cards in hand. Player 1 plays a card into the life stack. It says you discard 1 card. Player 1 discards 1 card into their trash. This ends player 1's turn. Now it's player 2's turn. Player 2 has 1 card in hand. Player 2 has no start of turn effects in play. Player 2 checks for compile. True. Because the persistent effect in play says, all face-down cards in this stack have a value of 4, the middle stack, darkness, has a total value of 10, which is greater than the opposing speed stack, which only has a value of 2. The cards in both stacks are deleted into their corresponding trash piles, and darkness is compiled. Player 2 is 1/3 complete. This ends player 2's turn. Back to player 1. They have no start of turn effects, nor can they compile. For their action, player 1 plays a card into the speed stack. Its immediate effect says draw 2 cards. Player 1 draws 2 cards. This ends player 1's turn. Back to player 2, who uses their action to play a card into their darkness stack. Its immediate effect says, flip one of your opponent's cards, you may shift that card. Unless otherwise stated, the only card that can be deleted, shifted, or flipped is the most recent card played in each stack. Therefore, player 2 may only target the uncovered cards in player 1's stacks. They choose to target the card in the fire stack, flipping it face up. Remember, every time text is revealed by playing, flipping, deleting, or shifting, the text activates. In this case, the card activates for player 1. It says, draw one card. You may flip one face-down card. Player 1 draws one card into their hand. Then, player 1 flips the card in player 2's spirit stack, which activates the card. It says, draw 3 cards. Shift one of your opponent's covered cards. Player 2 draws 3 cards into their hand. Then, player 2 targets one of player 1's covered cards, the covered card in their life stack, and shifts it to their speed stack. This ends player 2's turn. Player 1 decides to refresh their hand back up to 5 cards. Player 1 draws 2 cards. This ends player 1's turn and the example rounds of gameplay. Once you've mastered the basics, add the control component. This card starts the game in a neutral position. In the turn order, add the following step between start and check compile. Check control. If you have a higher value than your opponent in at least 2 lines, you gain the control component. When a player takes the compile or refresh action, if that player has the control component, they may first rearrange one player's protocols. Then, the control component goes back to its neutral state. This concludes the transmission of necessary information. Divide and conquer. Solve for sentience. Compile.